Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
It's time to protect the palm trees. Okay, so what we're going to do is make palm protection barrels. I've got a couple of pictures that I'm going to flash over here. This worked really good last year for my brand new windmill palms that I put in the ground. The roots were still kind of tender, so I wanted to give them some protection through the winter. The nice thing about these barrels is they're easy to pop on, they're easy to unplug and take off, and then you can actually let them on the nice winter days get some air, get some sun, and it really helps them along through the winter time. Here's what you need. You're going to get yourself one baby pool, 48 inches of wire fence. You want the kind with the big squares in the middle. We're going to be attaching lights to the inside. Christmas lights, thermocube. This thermocube, by the way, it comes on at 35, it turns off at 45. It's got 2 outlets on it. You just got to bring power out to your barrel. That's the key right there. You're also going to want some zip ties. We're going to use this burlap to wrap around the cage itself to give it some protection from the elements. So we'll do a couple of wraps of burlap around that, and we'll also put some at the base of the tree. This is winter wraps. I get this off of Amazon along with all this other stuff. I will use this to top the deal out. Also got some twist tie garden twine stuff that's going to help me with some of this. Bungee cords for the fronds. I've also got some of this plastic soft perimeter fence that I will probably use to wrap some of the fronds as well. Once I get the basic cage mated to the pool, I want some rigidity, so I'm going to use a couple of garden stakes on each side. And then you're going to want some tent stakes. We're going to use these around the base of it to help hold it in place. And finally, for safety, definitely get some gloves. You're going to be working with this wire fencing, and when you start cutting on it, it's super sharp and it'll poke right through your hands. The other thing you're going to want is some flat nose pliers with the little snips on there. That way you can cut it down. Let's get to it. So I'm going to take this wire here and I'm going to roll it out just a little because it's got a lot of natural curve to it and memory. I'm going to take a little bit of that out here. Now, one thing I want you to take note of here, when you cut this stuff down, you want to leave this part right here, because what we're going to do is we're going to wrap on the inside of that pool there, and we're going to take this and bend it back around and secure this together. We're going to go a couple of them in and then do that, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. We're just going to set our wire right inside of here. Get my leaf out there. I don't really need that at this time. I'm going to feed this thing all the way around. There's a good book that I've been reading on in the wintertime that has kind of helped me. It's called Palms Don't Grow Here and Other Myths. Got it off of Amazon. I'll put a link to it down below. If you're in a northern zone and you want to zone push, it's a really good book, good read, and will give you a lot of good information on growing and creating your own microclimates. And because of the way this thing is flailing out on the outside here as opposed to the bottom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my perimeter has got fence all the way around it, and I'm going to count out about 1, 2, 3, 4. Right about here on this one is where I'm going to clip, and remember, I'm going to clip to where I have some of that stuff sticking out there so I can help secure it. But then we'll kind of be able to play with it without this big heavy thing in the way, and that ought to work. And so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to make my cut right there. Once I get this first one done, or a couple of them, I can actually get it out of the pool, lay this thing out, and then just move really quick to cut this thing down. Once I get it cut down, I'm going to come back, refit it, and then if I need to, I'll take a little bit more off, but it's kind of, it once again gives it a little bit of extra rigidity, leaving some of this in. All right, there we go. So now what I want to do is I want to interlace these into here because I'm going to bend them back through. I'm just going to come along and get all of this stuff interlaced. One thing you want to make sure of is that you don't have any stuff poking out. You want it to poke towards the inside because of your burlap. You don't want the wind tearing or dragging your burlap along these little pokey deals here. It'll poke you, man. A little Jamaican talk there. There we have it. So now I want to put some rigidity into this thing. What I'm going to use is the garden stakes, and I'm just going to weave them in and out of this, and it'll help hold its shape. Once you get it all the way in, you can take those same snips with these plastic garden stakes and snip them right off. Yep. I'm going to flatten that out a little bit. There we go. Okay, now that I have the frame built, I can get this up and out of the way. We're going to start attaching Christmas lights to the inside of the barrel. One thing you want to be sure of is that your outlet for your Christmas lights at the bottom of the barrel, just kind of stretch it out to about halfway there, and then make note of that. I'm going to try to gently set this on the ground. When you're using lights for winter protection on your palm trees or other tropicals, LEDs do you no good whatsoever. You need incandescent bulbs. I get the C9 Christmas lights. I'll have a link for them down in the description below. LEDs don't provide any heat. These do. And so this is very important. And so I'm going to stretch this out about yay far. And so now I know that right here is where I want to attach that first one. And these have little clips on them, but I don't trust those because they'll slide around. So I'm going to get the zip ties. We'll zip tie them around all the way down. And then at the very top, or where the blue top is going to be, I'm going to string them back and forth up above. That's going to give me heat, but it's also going to give me light. And so during the cold months of the winter time, when it's really cold, they're going to get warmth and they're going to get some light, even though they're closed up. So that's great. Now I have been asking myself a little question here, because last year I did it with my windmill palms, worked pretty good. But the question that I am asking myself is, can I make this work with a banana plant? The main thing there, you know, I can cut the stalks back. They grow from the center. And if I could keep it above freezing inside the barrel, it certainly ought to work, because you can dig the things up, put them in newspaper in a plastic bag, stick them somewhere above freezing, and they'll come back and grow the next year. So I don't know why you couldn't, especially if I'm keeping moisture out with this and keeping it above freezing. I don't know. I may try it on one and see. All right, so now that I've got the frame done, the lights on and all of that, looky there. That'll work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a couple of holes in here to zip tie the top to the sides. I'm going to put a drainage hole, because this has got a lip on it. So I'm going to put a drainage hole on a couple of the sides here, and then drill a few holes, put some zip ties on here, and this is now secured to the barrel. So there we go. Get that squared away. Now it's time to do a little burlap or burlap. This is where your rolls of burlap come in, or you can buy burlap bags. They'll be a little bit thicker than this, but I buy them in a 50-foot roll from Amazon, and it works pretty good. So I'm just going to start by fixing it. And I'm using some of this garden twist twine with a little cutter on it, and I'm just going to tie it on here. I'm going to tie one on tonight. We'll do that later. This stuff is pretty thin, so I'm going to do multiple wraps here. I'll just keep doing that. I'm probably going to give it about 3 wraps, maybe 4, and then I'll go to the upper section, what will be the upper section when we flip it over, and do the same there. All right, so we got the burlap on, we got the pool top on, we got the lights on the inside. Let's take a look at it now and see how she looks here. Got some lights going there. Okay, so now I've got a rounded top that I'm going to put on. I showed you the package for it earlier. Got a little black nub in the center. It does have drawstrings on it. So we're going to center that up on the pool top here. And then we're going to draw it tight, keeping it right in the center right there. Oh, there we go. Oh, kind of like Kiwi Kate, I'm coming up a little short here. So I got a paracord that I'm going to use. And we'll tie off on one. And we'll gather it all together here. There, that ought to get us by. So when wintertime comes, we'll be ready. I've got the winter protection barrel put together. I got the lights in there. The next thing that I'll do as we get closer to that time is I'm going to put some frost blanket down. I'll probably put some heat cable in this since it's a raised bed and it kind of takes away a little bit of the protection being in the raised bed. I'll put some heat cable in. I'll take my lights after I get the frost blanket and the burlap down on the ground here, and I'll circle them around the palm and then up the base of it. Before I do all of that, I'll take bungees and I'll get this bungeed up, and I'm going to use the perimeter fence to help gather up all the palm fronds and keep them together, and then we'll be good to go. And then when we have those nice warm weather days, I can pop the barrel off. When you put the barrel on, make sure you get some tent peg stakes, either like this or those nice big yellow ones that you can really knock in the ground with a mallet, and that will keep it in place. The other alternative would be to put some of those big mobile home screws in the ground maybe, and ratchet strap. You could ratchet strap it down too, and that'd be fine. But that should take care of us here. And guys, I want to thank you for watching. If you have any ideas, post them down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your ideas for protecting palms and tropicals. Also, if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends that might be into zone pushing tropical plants. Be happy to help any way I can. Just post a comment below and let me know. And if you really liked the video, found it helpful, if you think about hitting that applaud button down there, it's like Super Chat only for videos. It's a way to support content creators here on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.